It's getting smaller. Is that it? Any other questions?
Can you, obviously, you had to use Jobber today because Joe had so many pitches yesterday. Talk about Ortiz and that.
Well, I mean, obviously he's not the guy you want to face in a big situation, regardless of who you have pitching, really. And he did what he's known to do, you know, hit big home runs at inopportune times for the team he's playing against. So, you know, but really Job has been outstanding for us all year. Since our first road trip in L.A. when he really, since that one outing in Los Angeles against the Dodgers, he's been outstanding. And he's pitched the last couple of days going today, so I think he was a little tired. But it's just, you know, one of those things. What are you going to do? He came up against a very good hitter, and the hitter won. Yeah, I've said that for 20 years. Jabba has come in a couple of times and gotten saves for us, though, when we needed it. So it's not like he's never done it. Again, I just think he was pitching third straight day. He was a little fatigued, probably not being able to finish his pitches quite like he wanted, so Ortiz took advantage. He did throw a lot of pitches early. Stuff was good. He's just missing around the zone a little bit, and the pitch count got up. There's a couple at bats with some foul balls, but he was able to muscle through the sixth, so that certainly helped quite a bit. That sixth inning, him getting through that was big for us.
Brad, could you talk about the back half of the lineup during this homestand? You know, late run tonight.
Well, they swung the bat well last 4 games, I guess, and I've said, you know, all season that when the back half of the lineup swings the bat well, we're generally in good shape because the top half of our lineup is strong. Tonight we only scored 3 runs, but just generally speaking, and hopefully when we go on into Chicago, it continues to be the same way.
An update on Joe?
He had a little bit of tightness in his hamstring. It was similar to what happened in the Texas game early in the year. You know, the standard day-to-day. We'll see how he feels tomorrow.
Was it bothering him in the fourth? Because it looked like when he doubled and he scored on Victor's single, it looked like he wasn't running comfortably there.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was actually in the fourth, but he had mentioned it earlier in the game. But I think the at-bat that we took him out, you could tell really in the box that it started to bother him even more. So there's really no reason to risk a major injury.
Sorry, I probably missed this at the start. Was Nathan just not, you weren't going to use him tonight?
Yeah, I didn't want to use him. He had thrown 32 pitches yesterday, I think 45-ish over the last 2 days. I just didn't think it wasn't in his best interest to send him out there and ask him to do that. I'd be kicking myself if he got hurt after throwing so many pitches.
Were you trying to avoid Albuquerque as well? Because I know he's pitching a lot.
No, he was warming up at one point. I wasn't really trying to avoid him. It's just the spot we were going to use him. We were kind of had him warming up while Koch was in the game towards the bottom half of the lineup in case they pinch hit for one of their lefties, but they never did.
You guys have allowed 46 runs in like 51 innings in the 9th inning. How much of a concern is that 9th inning just overall? Joe or Job or anybody?
Yeah, I mean you certainly don't want to be giving up runs like that in the 9th inning. I think I'm not overly concerned about it, but it's got to stop at some point. And I do think Joe's going to get his groove back, so to speak, and be fine. And I think once Joe returns to form, then I think those numbers will come back to earth.
What did it mean for Phil to pitch the way he did tonight in those situations?
Well, it was a good outing. It was a big outing for him. It was a big outing for us. Got obviously some big outs, and really protected us in a number of ways. Not only because he pitched well, but it protects us in the sense that if we did go extra innings, we didn't have to just burn a guy for Phil Koch for David Ortiz, so to speak. He was able to go deeper down in the lineup and protect us in case we had to go 10 or 11, 12 innings.
What were your thoughts in letting him face Napa?
What were my thoughts? My thoughts were if we had to go 10 or 11 or 12 innings and I took Koch out and brought Albuquerque in, I was in deep trouble. because Joe, I didn't want to use Joe. If I bring in Albie there and they tie the game, now I got Jabba for an inning at most, and then Knable for 2. If if we go 13 innings, I'm in trouble in terms of pitching because Rick Porcello left early to go to Chicago. We didn't have him. So it was good. Phil Koch pitched well, but he also helped us out in the sense that now we had a little bit of depth if it went extra innings. And then, at the time, I think it was a tie game, right? One-run game. One-run game. Either way, it certainly wasn't a lock.
Right, the way the Red Sox seemed to foul off pitches, especially when they did it in Sanchez, I think it was like 22 of the first 5 innings. Does that have a cascading effect in how you have to use guys?
Well, Sanchez's pitch count goes up quickly, and then you have, he obviously can't go as deep into the game. It forces you to go to the bullpen earlier. Like I said, I didn't want to use Joe, so I was already down a man in the bullpen. Jabba had pitched 2 days in a row, so I didn't want to use him for more than an inning. So sure, it does have a cascading effect, yeah. That's why, like I said, we had to kind of protect ourselves, and Phil Koch helped us out in case we did go extra innings.
Brad, just looking ahead slightly, you guys now go on a stretch where I think it's 14 games against the AL Central. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it just your thoughts on facing the division in that kind of lump like that?
Well, you got to play someone, but the division games are certainly more important. I think, especially with a division-heavy schedule, we got to play them at some time. I'm not really I'm not overly concerned that it's back-to-back, but they're important games.
You look at it as an opportunity, perhaps, as well?
You hope. You hope we play well and are able to take each of those series, whether it's 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4. And that's kind of what we focus on, is winning the series. And if we do that, and right now I'm not looking past the Chicago White Sox. We got 4 in Chicago. We go in and we hope to take the series. We lost the game tonight, had an opportunity to win up until the 9th, but we took 2 out of 3 from the Boston Red Sox. So that's what we set out to do, is win the series, and we were able to do that.
Right, I know he likes to play in the field, but even if he checks out okay and can play tomorrow, could you end up DHing him for a day or two?
Well, the problem with DHing is you're actually sitting around a lot more. So the muscle kind of gets cold, and then you go up and hit, and then you try to take a step and you try to run. As opposed to playing first where the muscle's staying heated, you're moving around more often. So there's kind of 2 schools of thought. Well, he doesn't have to move as much if he DHs, but he could be cold, so to speak. His muscles could be cold. Or do you send him out there and play first, keep his muscles hot, but then he ends up putting too much stress on it. So we're going to have to see how he feels tomorrow. I don't know. We won't make a decision, obviously, until just before the game tomorrow.